Hello. This video is for Chapter 4 of our reading for this week, Making Moral Judgments. As the last chapter also started, this chapter begins with a story. This story is about Sandra. Although she was driving through torrential rains, Sandra Menendez barely noticed the weather. The chaos of the water washing down her windshield seemed like nothing compared with the turmoil swirling inside. Sandra, the director of an adult English as a second language program, was returning home from teaching her regular Friday night ESL class. Her favorite student, Jose, had seemed particularly nervous and distracted, and Sandra had asked him after class if everything was okay. At that, Jose had broken down completely. Piecing his story together, Sandra learned that Jose was an illegal immigrant from Honduras and had lived 13 months in the United States. His troubles had started after he'd refused to join a street gang that controlled his Honduran hometown. From that time on, he'd been repeatedly threatened, robbed, and beaten. After he somehow managed to get out and make his way to New York, Jose had met Edgar, a Guatemalan who'd come to the United States 2 years ago from a similar background. They'd become friends, pooled their resources, and began working to establish a better life for themselves in the United States. Just a few weeks ago, however, Edgar had been deported back to Guatemala. Then, last night, Jose had heard that Edgar had been murdered by a gang soon after his return. Grief-stricken and terrified, Jose felt he had nowhere to turn. Beside the heart-wrenching emotions this was causing Sandra, it also began to dawn on her that she had a real dilemma on her hands. Because she received government aid for her ESL program, she occasionally had to fill out a report documenting her students. However, she could hardly imagine reporting Jose as an illegal immigrant. That could lead to Jose's deportation, which she found unthinkable. However, her program funding could be suspended if the government were to determine that she had harbored an illegal immigrant. Nor could she ask Jose to drop the program, for he now needed the friendship and support he found there more than ever. But how could she submit a false report about Jose to the government? That would also put her program at risk. Worse, it would be lying. Despite her turmoil, Sandra felt sure about one thing. It was extremely important that she do the right thing. She just didn't know what that was. Although Sandra's predicament includes legal matters, her professional responsibilities, and her own personal feelings, what Sandra ultimately seeks is a moral solution to the question, what should she do about Jose? Okay, at this point I'd like you to consider 3 questions. First, what different sorts of normative claims, so prudential, legal, moral, or etiquette claims, come into play in Sandra's situation? It's possible that some of these normative types of claims don't come into play. What's the morally right thing for Sandra to do, and why do you think this? 3. What moral dilemmas from ordinary life have you faced, and how did you respond?